Hello, and welcome to Season 2 of The Joy of Drafting. I'm Travis Semulin Sowers, and today we're here to talk about the differences in Best of 1 and Best of 3 drafting. Which one is right for you? Let's find out. Best of 1 drafting is called Premier Draft in Arena, and is usually joinable via a clickable box when you open Arena. Best of 3 draft is called Traditional Draft in MTG Arena, and will not be visible until you click the Advanced Play Modes toggle on the top right of the Arena home screen. You'll also see Quick Draft in the list of draft options. This is a Best of 1 variant where you draft with bots instead of people. Today's video will focus on the differences between Premier Draft and Traditional Draft. We'll start with Traditional Draft because it's, traditional. If you've ever played a Magic draft at a local game store or played on Magic Online, this structure will be familiar to you. You'll join a draft pod of 8 players for an entry fee of 1,500 gems or 10k gold. You'll then draft with those 8 players and play 3 rounds of Magic. Each round will be best 2 out of 3 games. You may play against people from your same draft group, and you may not. After each game, you'll have the opportunity to change your deck. This change is called Sideboarding. You can bring in cards that you think will be good against your opponent, and take out cards that you think will be bad against their strategy. After you play your 3 rounds, you'll receive prizes in packs and gems, and then you're done. Expect the draft portion to last around 20 minutes, and each of the rounds to last from between 20 minutes at the low end to 45 minutes at the top. I've had a few rounds hit the max timer of an hour, but this is very rare. Premier Draft is a bit different, but it starts the same. You'll join a draft pod of 8 players for the same entry fee. You'll draft as normal with this group and then go play. When you play, the differences start. You'll be matched against other players based on your rank. The ranks go from Bronze at the bottom to Mythic at the top. You'll then play 9 rounds before tallying up either 7 wins or 3 losses. It's worth noting you'll play about the same amount of Magic whether you play a Traditional Draft or Premier Draft. You'll just see a lot of different decks in Premier and not have the opportunity to sideboard. After your rounds, you'll receive prizes based on the number of wins and rank up or down based on your performance. One key difference in Premier Draft that many players don't even know about is the hand smoothing algorithm. The short version of this hand smoother is that the game will draw 2 opening hands for you. Then it will look at those 2 hands and see which one has the closest ratio of lands and spells to your deck, and then give you that hand. This will not affect any draws you have from the deck on future turns, only your opening hand. In theory, this means you'll have to mulligan less often, which should be better for best of 1 matches. Now that we know about the 2 draft modes, let's briefly explain the key differences so you can find which one is right for you. Best of 1 is ranked, Best of 3 is not. If you're excited about showing off your rank to your friends, or just achieving your goal of hitting a particular rank, you'll have to do that in Best of 1. It is worth noting that with ranked play comes matchmaking. If you play enough, you'll be paired against better and better opponents, meaning your win percentage, in theory, should be trending towards 50%. While there's just as many good players and bad players in each type of drafting, you'll only ever play against the good ones in Best of 1 if you continue ranking up. This means that Best of 3 is better if you want to draft without spending real-world dollars on gems. Best of 1 is for ranking, Best of 3 is for going infinite, or at least spending less per draft. It's worth noting that while your gameplay in Best of 1 is ranked, your draft is not. Once you hit Silver, you'll generally be paired against other Silver players, and when you hit Mythic, you'll usually be playing against other Mythic players, but your draft pod could contain a mix of 2 other Mythic players, 3 Bronze players, and 3 Silver players. This generally means the drafts are a bit easier to read in Best of 3, as the average drafter in Best of 3 is a little bit better than the average drafter in Best of 1. We mentioned that the hand smoother, in theory, leads to less feel-bads of having to mulligan in Limited. It also does something else in practice. Think of the scourge of the aggro player in Limited. It's the land count. You want to play 14 lands because you've got a wicked curve and plenty of combat tricks, but you know that you're going to need to have at least 2 or preferably 3 lands in your opener to function. So you sigh and submit a list with 16 or 17 lands. But not anymore. If you're playing best of 1, you're essentially getting a free double dip into that land pool. You can go ahead and submit the 14 or 15 lander, and the hand smoother will quite often take care of you. Of course, you don't have to play and plan to abuse the hand smoother, but when you hit the higher ranks, there will be people doing this. This makes aggressive strategies much more appealing in best of 1, so be aware of this when you hit platinum rank and continue to draft. These may sound like some big drawbacks to best of 1, but they don't really show up unless you play enough to rank up to platinum. If you're doing a draft or 2 each week, you may not notice any issues or drawbacks. There is also the time factor. Only having to commit to 1 game at a time instead of best 2 out of 3 means you can get in that extra game before dinner. Maybe you need to put the kids to bed in 20 minutes, or you're supposed to get into a virtual class soon. That means you probably have time for a premier draft game, but wouldn't likely have time to finish a full round of best of 3. Sideboarding can also be quite intimidating to a newer player, and not having to worry about it is a draw to best of 1. Don't worry, we'll have a full episode on sideboarding later this season. There's a lot more I could say about best of 1 and best of 3 drafting, but this is enough to let you decide which is best for you. If you want to rank up with quick games, Premier Draft is for you. If you want to get as many games out of your dollars as possible, enjoy the depth of sideboarding, and experience a format without a hand smoother, then Best of 3 Draft is for you. I prefer Best of 3 Draft, and much of the focus on Season 2 is going to be getting you ready to make that leap into Best of 3. Please feel free to ask any questions in the comments for me to address in future episodes. Throughout Season 1, I was looking for a sponsor, and I'm happy to say I found one. You! Thank you to my patrons for making the series possible. If you'd like to support my work here on YouTube, there's a link below to take you to my Patreon. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you soon.